The idea
Yes.
AI was talked about in common vernacular in ways that suggested things that when it comes time to live with it and have it become integrated in your work, are two different sides of a coin. And it's the expectation that got set. And in some cases, the fear, right? We've got this very powerful hype fear coin going on. It was interesting for me to try and create a talk that was intended to sort of walk on the edge of the coin, you know, because I'm a believer in the things that AI can do to improve or increase our ability to use our discernment and to use our direction and to establish quality, right? Sometimes you don't know what's wrong until you see it made wrong, right? So there is that. Sometimes you're working on something and AI gives you something and you look at that and you go, "Huh, I didn't think to tell you not to do that, but now that I see it, I know don't do that." Right? So that so
Right.
that can help, right?
You're
That's
right.
that's that's real. Um but then at the same time, I'm really concerned about this sort of creeping overwhelm and this feeling of that I feel like people in L&D are asking themselves right now, which is literally, and they ask it in their quiet of their early, the late night mind. They're asking, am I valued here anymore? Am I valued? Did somehow my intrinsic worth just evaporate overnight? What the F is going on?
Yeah.
That's the
That's
question that's in
right.
the back of people's minds, and
Yeah.
they don't feel like they can talk about it, and
Mhm.
there's this like tidal wave of the AI is here and get on board. You know what I mean? So
Right.
people don't feel
Yes.
very comfortable talking about that. And I really wanted to say, look, I'm not here to blow smoke up your butt about that everything AI is easy and wonderful and is better than anything that anyone's ever done. But I also don't want you to feel like it's the end of everything and it's going to replace you.
Right.
We all need to find our own way to the middle. And I just think part of what needs to change is the language around all of it,
I
you know?
agree. Yeah, because it did instill fear in a lot of people in my department too from the very beginning. Editors and all of that, they're like, wow, is our job gonna go away? And all this stuff, and are we being replaced, right, by the machine? Yeah, so yep. Yeah, so those are real valid concerns, right? For sure. Yeah.
I got so I'm on LinkedIn, that's primarily where I talk about things, advertise, etc. One thing that came up recently on LinkedIn, I don't know if it's because of my tier, I'm a premier subscriber to LinkedIn, or not, but I was offered the chance to sign up to be an AI trainer or to get access to organizations looking for human guidance to train AI. Um, and I thought that was fascinating that it should just sort of fall in my lap. And I knew it was early because as soon as I said, sure, okay, let me see what that looks like. And I said, yes, I looked at what was available and there was not a whole lot available. It wasn't like a lot of variety. But the fact that I was seeing it and the fact that it was happening at that sort of plain clothes level, um, the equivalent of a newsstand. You just walk by and pick something up. It was that easy. It felt like I didn't go out and look for it. It just came to me. Said a lot to me about where we're going, and I think that that's a really interesting place for people who are good at educating others to find themselves, because everything we've ever learned about learning methodologies, pedagogy, things that help people take up new skills and communicate, those all of those things, it's like we need to share with the machines in order for them to become not to become better at what we're asking them to do. Um, so it's just interesting. I think you think one day I'm training people, and the next day I'm training AI, and tomorrow the AI I've trained may be able to do some of the training that the people need and vice versa. So I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a melting pot right now. And I think it's important that we talk about it that way so people don't feel like they're disenfranchised and instead feel like, oh, no, actually, I'm really well positioned because if I know how to train people, I'm going to be pretty good at figuring out how to help AI learn, you know?
Right. Right. Absolutely.